You may.
Your Honor, members of the jury, opposing counsel, may it please the court. Every man has his price. Today's case is about bribery and corruption. It's about public official Chase Covington, who used his position on the Midlands Gambling Commission to pad his own bank account. The evidence will show that on April 16th of 2015, defendant Covington met Avery Bancroft behind the closed doors of Bancroft's casino. Covington then promised his vote in favor of Bancroft's casino proposal, and Covington left with a briefcase full of cash. Every man has his price, and defendant Covington's price was $250,000. Today, the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that bribery occurred. Now, to show bribery, we must prove three elements. The first element is that defendant Covington is a public official. The second element is that defendant Covington received something of value in exchange for the performance of an official act. That is to say, that Covington received money from Bancroft in exchange for voting for Bancroft's proposal. And finally, the prosecution must prove that the defendant had the intent to be influenced in his performance of that official act. In other words, Bancroft's bribe influenced Covington to vote for Bancroft's proposal. Now, we have a heavy burden to bear today, but we will more than meet that burden, and we'll do that by calling three witnesses. The first witness that the prosecution will call is Ms. Corey Hyde. Ms. Hyde is Avery Bancroft's executive assistant, and she'll tell you a little bit about Covington's intent, testifying that from the first meeting, it was clear Covington was just there for the bribe. But you don't have to rely on Hyde's testimony alone. Covington's own words were, "I'm going to need 250,000 reasons to vote for your proposal." Furthermore, Ms. Hyde will testify that she watched her boss, Avery Bancroft, stuff more than $200,000 into a briefcase the same day she was scheduled to meet with defendant Covington. Just one day after this, defendant Covington voted in favor of that proposal. Next, the prosecution will call Dr. Pat Sikorsky, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about that briefcase. He will confirm that the briefcase traded hands from Bancroft to Covington. In other words, he will prove that a transaction did occur. Now, Dr. Sikorsky has extensive experience and training in the field of criminalistics, and he'll tell you about the DNA found on the exterior of the briefcase and the hairs found on the interior. And he will confirm that both the exterior and interior evidence on that briefcase was a perfect match for Avery Bancroft. But that was not Bancroft's briefcase. That was the briefcase found on defendant Covington the day Covington was arrested. Finally, the prosecution will call Tracy Menados, defendant Covington's stepsister. Menados will testify about Covington's history of exploiting his position on the commission for material gain, giving specific examples of fancy trips, expensive wine, more than a few times, briefcases full of cash. That is the price of doing business, or so Covington told Menados. Menados also remembers Bancroft telling Covington that she was more than willing to go the extra mile, and Bancroft did go the extra mile. Menados will tell you about the napkin she found in Covington's pocket that read, "Yes equals $250,000. And finally, Menados will tell you about a bank statement indicating a $200,000 deposit the same day that Covington voted in favor of Bancroft's proposal. Every man has his price, and every action has its consequences. Members of the jury, do not let Chase Covington's actions go unpunished. After the evidence is presented today, the facts will overwhelmingly show that defendant Covington received a bribe, and that bribe caused him to vote for Avery Bancroft. Every man has his price, and defendant Covington must pay the price for his actions. At the end of this case today, we will ask that you return a verdict of guilty. Thank you.